sure we've all run into this, or those of us with crank windows. It's getting harder and harder to crank this window up. Both of them. This one's the worst. I can start with it. And a lot of it is because this truck is 30 years old. It's a 1987 Toyota. So today I'm going to demonstrate. We're going to take the door panel off and take basically everything down and grease up the tracks and grease up the gears behind the crank handle. What you're going to need is, and this varies from vehicle to vehicle, but essentially you're going to need something that's not going to eat the rubber. I happen to have some bright grease with me. You're going to need a really, really skinny flathead screwdriver. There's a little clip in there, and you're going to need some sort of screwdriver or whatever, depends on what kind of screws or bolts or whatever that hold your specific door panel off. This works similarly to all the vehicles. This is just how I'm going to do it on an 87 pickup, and I'm sure it works a lot of the same with the 80s pickups in general, or most Toyotas with crank windows. So let's get started. The first step in getting this door off, with considering it has a manual, it's a manual crank window, there's a little clip that holds it on to the splines. That's what this little tiny screwdriver is going to come in handy. Basically you have to go, and it doesn't matter right now if this window is up or down. Okay, I should be able to now take the clip out. And don't lose the clip. The clip is kind of important. I've already lost one once, and I had to buy a whole other door handle because auto parts stores, I find, don't just sell the clip. Underneath the handle is a clip. Let's see if it'll. So we got a clip, and there's a groove right here. And what you want, and what I'm going to do so I don't lose the clip, is to slide it back in there, and you're going to want it to look like that. And then all you have to do is slide it back over the splines and push it down. It'll clip in by itself. My door only has that clip, the screws for this handle, and there's one tiny screw behind here. I always start with the door handle. It really doesn't matter the order that you do this in. Okay, and then you got one more in the handle, or I have one more in the handle, I should say. And you're just going to pull back on the handle and then slide it over. This next part is, this one applies on all the vehicles. You have clips that hold the rest of the door panel in. And I usually start at the bottom and work my way up. I start at the corner and then just kind of run your hands around here and gently pop them off. Shouldn't take much pressure to get these off. Okay, door panel's off. Clip that shows where to put the grease got deleted, but it's not a huge deal. What you want to do is you want to grease the window tracks on either side. And in order to do that, you want to crank the window down, and where the glass meets up, right between, there's a little gap. You put the grease all the way up on this side, and behind the crank itself, which is like this big, there's a hole in the door, and you go in and you feel out where the gears are, and you put grease on that, and then you roll the window up and down a couple of times to distribute the grease. And once you've distributed the grease, you're going to roll up the window one final time and just wipe off, and I missed some, but you want to wipe off the excess grease if anything got on. Now for this, it's never going to go back together perfect, but surprisingly this tar is still sticky, so you just want to go ahead and get it on the door as best as possible. got your door panel. And I always start with the corner, top to bottom. For putting the clips back on, you just want to line them up. And then that'll line the door panel up. Okay, then you're going to take your door handle, and it would be a good idea to have both sides matching when they're full up. So for this one, find the groove. The other one's up, and then there you go, that's clipped in. And you're going to take your handle and basically reassemble everything in reverse. And that's pretty much all it takes to attempt to make it go up and down easier. The same thing would work similarly with a powered window. With the tracks, you could still get grease up into here. I don't know too much about the motor part, but I know that that's a lot smoother. But I know that it would work similarly for an electric motor, or for an electric window. You just get the tracks. Thanks for stopping by, and this has been another episode of Mater Madness.